Class 91.3.
Hello, it's midday. Good afternoon. Welcome to 12 Live Radio on Class 91.3 FM in Accra and affiliates across the country. If you're listening in the Volta region, this is Ho FM 92.5, Dagbon FM 102.5 is speaking the bulletin live in Tamale, Radio 1 92.1 in the Upper West region, Radio Power 96 in Spain. Around the world, join us on classfmonline.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, manhunt intensify for missing newborn baby in Salaga in the Savannah region. We'll go live to the area to bring you the very latest. Also coming up in this bulletin, the former MPP flag bearer hopeful Kennedy Japan vows not to be silenced by internal party criticisms.
From June 2027, MPP for minimum action will Ghana. You will be surprised. MPP for when you're ready. They say July 2027, minimum action will Ghana. You'll be surprised.
Also coming up, President Mahama announces the creation of 3 international panels to drive the global campaign for reparatory justice.
And so today we must move from recognition, building the architecture for reparatory justice to ensure the momentum generated by Resolution ARES 8250 is sustained and translated into practical outcomes.
Also coming up, NDC to mark Rawlings' 79th birthday with headquarters renaming and legacy events. Also coming up, Ghana joins the rest of the world to commemorate World Sickle Day today with great support for sickle cell survival. We'll go live with the public health experts for more on the day. Meanwhile, MP for Akemoda and a member of Parliament's Health Committee, Alexander Kwesi-Akwa, is calling for urgent action to end sickle cell stigmatization.
We must eliminate derogatory and stigmatization language from our vocabulary. These individuals, they are warriors, not sicklers.
Also coming up, members of Parliament urge Black Stars to avoid complacency after Panama win.
I beg all stakeholders, let us not be complacent. The management body, the referee, the boys, those who are praying, the entire state. Because if you read James 2:26, it talks about James 2:26. It talks about the fact that.
And in African news, Zimbabwe's MPs passed bill to extend president's time in power.
These plus many other stories coming your way shortly. I am Elizabeth Aidoo.
And I am Veronica Amadei.
Now let's settle for the details of the news. Police and health authorities are continuing effort to locate a newborn baby who went missing from the East Gonja District Hospital in Salaga in the Savannah region. The Ghana Health Service confirmed that the incident occurred on June 10, 2026 and said investigations are ongoing to determine the circumstances surrounding the disappearance. The baby reportedly disappeared shortly after delivery, prompting an immediate search within the hospital premises. However, the search yielded no results, leading hospital authorities to report the matter to the East Gonja District Police Command for further investigations. 2 midwives from the facility have since been remanded by the Tamale Circuit Court over allegations linked to the disappearance. They have been charged with conspiracy to steal an adoption and have been pleaded not guilty. The 2 health workers have since been granted bail of 150,000 Ghana cedis each, 2 sureties by Tamale Circuit Court. The case has since been adjourned to July 9, while effort by the police to trace the missing newborn continues. Let's go on the line and speak to our reporter in Salaga, Andrew Oheniba Kojo, to give us more details on that story. So Kojo, what's the latest on this story?
Elizabeth, good afternoon to you. As we are speaking, the baby is still reported missing. Investigation by the Ghana Police Service are ongoing as authorities work to establish what happened and locate the child. The Member of Parliament for Salaga's South constituency, Hajazuera Ibrahima, earlier visited the family of the missing baby to offer support. However, her visit was met with tension from some youth in the community. resulting in her being escorted out of the area for safety reasons. In an interview with the MP, she appealed to the residents to remain calm and allow the security agencies to complete the investigation without interference. Meanwhile, a youth activist group within the committee has issued a 3-day ultimatum to the police, demanding that the baby found and returned to the family, warning of impossible unarrest if no progress is within stated period the time. Meanwhile, the Savannah Regional Minister, Honorable Salisu Awurube, has assured the public that security agencies are fully in control of the situation and are working to de-escalate tension while investigation continues. Elizabeth.
So, during the investigation, did the police tell you or let you guys know how they were able to trace and found out that these midwives were involved in the abduction of the baby or the missing baby?
Speaking to the police commander, he is not willing to speak to the media because he says it will escalate a lot of tension in the community, so he's not willing to speak to the media.
So, have the midwives been released since they are going to appear on July 9?
Yesterday, there was a bill with condition on them, so they have been released now.
All right, so we'll come to you for more details on that story. That's our reporter in Salaga, Andrew Kojo Ohineba, giving us the latest on the missing baby in the Salaga, which is in the Savannah region. And we'll also be following, we'll bring you the latest on that. Veronica, give us what is going on.
Right, moving on to some other stories. Former Asin Central MP Kennedy Ohinie Japan says he will not be intimidated or silenced by criticisms from within the New Patriotic Party (NPP) amid renewed tensions over his public comments on governance and accountability. His remarks follow backlash from some NPP members after he accused the party of failing to complete and operationalize the Afari Military Hospital during its 8 years in government. Japan expressed disappointment over the state of the project, describing it as a missed opportunity to improve healthcare delivery in the country. He argued that the facility, which was intended to serve both military personnel and civilians, should be fully operational by now, considering the level of investments made in it. Speaking on Netu TV, the former NPP flag bearer aspirant dismissed suggestions that his comments were motivated by bitterness. He maintained that the criticism stemmed from genuine concerns about national development and the need for accountability rather than partisan interests.
You see, from June 2027, MPP for me no action in Ghana. You will be surprised. MPP for me already. Me see July 2027. Me no action in Ghana. You will be surprised. You think I'm stupid? I'm stupid to come and follow you guys again? I'm stupid. Honorable. You have a 10 cents of Kennedy at the pump. You wait and see what will happen. Me catch them. Me see me slow happen. You wait and see. I've given you the time. Say June 2027. You see action in this country. I say I bring up our needs some poor Ghana. Minimum Opia Obetebi. Obia me feed you. Me feed you. Onye who near back to Ghana. See a year. You better call India and China. Say you be to war. And I will say, more dainty, put me cut in Alphabia. May MPD for them a better. Men can be here and chill. Now, almost he said, Niomo Yano, our campaign, me may dean, they can't shut me down.
The former Asin Central MP. We are working on the phone line to speak to political analyst and executive director for African Institute of Strategic Studies, Dr. Jonathan Asante Ocho. As and when we get him, we'll get back to you. Let's do some of the stories, Elizabeth.
Now, the Member of Parliament for Etiwa East and former Deputy Finance Minister Abena Osaya Sari has raised concerns over the growing use of Ghana Education Trust Fund resources to finance the free senior high school feeding program, warning that the practice risk undermining the fund's primary mandate of supporting educational infrastructure and development. Her concerns follows a disclosure by the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, that the government has earmarked 4.2 billion Ghana cedis for Get Fund to cater for the feeding under the free senior high school program in 2026. According to the minister, the allocation represents about 42% of the fund's total resources for this year. Speaking during discussions on education finances, the former Deputy Finance Minister questioned the decision to allocate a substantial portion of Get Fund resources to recreate expenditure, particularly student feeding, at a time where many educational infrastructure projects across the country remain uncompleted.
42% of Get Fund's allocation is spent on school feeding at the senior level. Mr. Speaker, that is good because the students also have to be fed as they go to school. But Mr. Speaker, that is not the core mandate of Get Fund. Look at this and make sure they give Get Fund enough allocation. One, to address the existing uncompleted infrastructure, as well as give the Ministry of Education enough funding to enable them do what is expected of them.
However, the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu has defended the allocation, noting that government remains committed to sustaining the free senior high school policy while addressing broader educational needs.
Of the 9.6 billion, you have 4.2 billion, Mr. Speaker, going to feeding of students in free senior high school. So when our government then in opposition said we will review free senior high school, there were many who interpreted it as cancellation. We have reviewed it subsequent to the National Education Forum, and the review is happening at 3 areas. One, infrastructure has to be reviewed. Match the exponential increase in numbers, 1,600 to 4,000. Many schools, they queue to use assembly hall, they queue to use dining hall. That is what has happened in the country in the last 8 years. And we seem determined, Mr. Speaker, to correct it, and we'll correct it. I know that currently the GET Fund allocates 42% of its total budget revenue to support school feeding under the free senior high school program. So 42% of it, what will be left for infrastructure, what will be left for tertiary education, and what will be left for basic education. That's why I have advised that we should realign the financing of GET Fund to focus more on basic foundational learning, where literacy and numeracy are important for the future learning success of our people.
That's the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu.
Well, let's go back to our earlier story where former Asin Central MP Kennedy Ohiniejapu says he will not be intimidated or silenced by criticisms from within the New Patriotic Party NPP amid renewed tensions over his public comments on governance and accountability. We are joined by Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere, who is a political analyst and the Executive Director for African Institute of Strategic Studies. Good afternoon, sir. Well, how significant is it when a prominent party figure openly criticizes his own party's record in governance?
Hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. Okyere.
Your sound is very low.
Well, we are trying very hard to speak to Dr. Okyere, who is a political analyst and Executive Director for African Institute of Strategic Studies. Mr. Okyere, is the line clear now?
Okay, let me hear you.
Right. I said, how significant is it when a prominent party figure openly criticizes his own party record in government?
Looking at the support base of such a personality, obviously it carries a lot of weight. I think Dr. Bawumia has not been quite fortunate because some of us who have been behind the scenes are of the view that he has not had that, leadership control over the party. It's as if some members of the party who want to have control of the party are those who have engineered behind the scenes for him, because the kind of overwhelming support that President Kufuor had before he won the primaries, we are not seeing that in Dr. Bawumia. The overwhelming support of Mr. Akufo-Addo, His Excellency the former President, we are not seeing that in Dr. Bawumia. So you could see that the party is struggling to adjust. That being said, the party has always had its stronghold, and the stronghold has been the Akan support base of the party. So, wanting to rid themselves of that anachronistic tag, as it were, they have decided to, change and make themselves a bit more nationalistic. And that has not really gained the support of the other side. In actual fact, it would have been good that they would want to demonstrate that nationalistic tag. But here is the case, the opposition has not been that, the opposition has not wavered in their opposition to that particular decision. And so, a situation where you have a prominent person that has come second twice in terms of flag bearership of the party, I think that it is quite worrying if you have such vituperative or intended vituperative attack on the party come June 2027. It doesn't forebode well for the party. It is really a bad omen.
Thank you, Mr. Autry. You heard the political analyst and the executive director for African Institute of Strategic Studies, Dr. Jonathan Asante Autry. Let's do some other stories, Elizabeth.
Every June 19 is observed as a special day to commemorate and raise awareness of one of the most serious life-threatening genetic blood disorders that significantly shortens life expectancy. Designated by the United Nations, the day is dedicated to promoting awareness campaigns about the disease, advocate quality care and advanced research, and also improve the quality of life for patients and their families worldwide. Today, Ghana joins the rest of the world in marking this occasion with the primary goal of bridging wide disparities in the care. The health experts are calling for increased public education and screening to help reduce the burden of sickle cell diseases in the country. Let's go on the phone lines and speak to the executive director and the Ghana Foundation for Sickle Gene Action, Victoria Chumesi, who joins me on the line to give us further details of today's commemoration. As and when she joins us, we'll get more details when it comes to sickle cell diseases and disorders. She joins us on the line. Good afternoon, Ms. Chumesi. What are the most common misconceptions about sickle cell diseases?
Hi, and thank you for having me today on World Sickle Cell Day. The most common misconceptions about sickle cell disease is the fact that it's contagious. And it's not a contagious disease. Also, one thing that Ghanaians don't know is that it's very close to us and we think at least 1 in every 4 Ghanaians has a sickle cell trait, which I don't think that people think of sickle cell in that light, but that is the reality of the situation. So it touches every single family and life in Ghana as we speak right now.
Many people don't know their sickle cell status. Why does knowing your genotype before marriage or having kids matter?
It matters because it helps you know who you're compatible with when it comes to your genotype. Because if you know that you're a sickle cell carrier, then you're careful about choosing a partner that isn't a carrier so that you both don't end up having a child with sickle cell disease. So the earlier people know their genotype, the earlier they're able to make informed decisions about their life partners later on in life. And then with that, they're able to stop the cycle of reproducing more children with sickle cell disease.
What's the current status and access to sickle cell treatment in management of pain in Accra and also outside Accra?
Well, in Accra, thankfully, we have hospitals, institutions that are well established and run sickle cell clinics. Kolebu is one of them. Greater Accra Regional Hospital, which is also 37, UGMC, the Police Hospital. Currently, Mamobi Polyclinic is also running it. So we have these entities within the Greater Accra region where people can seek sickle cell care and treatment. Outside Accra, we know that most of the district hospitals have a specialist or run some level of sickle cell treatment there. It might not be a full-blown clinic like we have in the ones in Accra, but they at least have a specialist there that can attend to people when they have sickle cell crisis. People can also call any of the sickle cell organizations if they need help getting connected to a sickle cell treatment center within their locality in any of the regions in Ghana.
Every June 19, we commemorate sickle cell. What is your foundation doing beyond this day to help promote and also help reduce stigma when it comes to people with sickle cell?
For us at the Ghana Foundation for Sickle Gene Action, we facilitate early screening of basic school children in our local municipalities. This year, our partnership is with the Gas Central Municipality, and then we're also looking at the Okere district in the Eastern region as well. And so when we screen and educate these kids at the basic school level, a lot those who were not able to screen at the newborn level are able to again find out whether they have sickle cell disease. From that point, we connect them to their local treatment centers where they can receive care, and we also help them sign on to the NHIS insurance, because the medication, one of the revolutionary medications that is used to treat sickle cell disease, is currently on our NHIS. So it's best when people are signed on to the NHIS so they can access that medication when they start treatment. We also follow them as they are receiving treatment through whichever hospital that is closest or within their locality, just to make sure that they are receiving the best care that is needed. And then further to that, we work with the education system. So the education director, the health directorate within whichever municipality we're working in, to ensure that these kids and their families are well supported. We counsel them. We ensure that they are able to get to the appointments. And then any sort of additional assistance they need, not monetary, because we don't have that much funding to do that. But, when it comes to advocacy, working with the schools so that they're able to understand the child's needs better, working with the parents so that they themselves understand the illness better. We're able to do all of that for the children.
Before I let you go, what can the media do to help in this advocacy?
Thankfully, what you're doing today is remarkable. So, giving us a platform to spread the word about sickle cell disease, getting involved, reaching out to us where there are misconceptions and, giving us the opportunity to correct some of these misconceptions, and also helping us stop the stigma around sickle cell disease. So anything that you can do to partner with us to continue to spread the word, that is what we like. So thank you so much for today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. That's the Executive Director for the Ghana Foundation for Sickle Cell Gene Action, Veronica Victoria Chumesivero. What's next?
To some other stories, because President John Dramani Mahama has announced the establishment of 3 international panels to lead the next phase of the global campaign for reparatory justice following the United Nations landmark declaration recognizing the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. The president made the announcement while addressing delegates at a high-level consultative conference on reparatory justice in Accra. He said the initiative marks a significant step in advancing international efforts to secure justice, recognition, and restitution of the descendants of enslaved Africans. President Mahama announced the formation of the Global Advisory Panel on Reparatory Justice, the Expert Panel on the Reinstitution of Cultural Artifacts, and the Global Legal Panel on Reparatory Justice.
Our responsibility now is to ensure that this recognition translates into meaningful and sustained action. And so today we must move from recognition to building the architecture for reparatory justice. To ensure the momentum generated by Resolution ARES 8250 is sustained and translated into practical outcomes, I'm pleased to announce the establishment of 3 global panels which will serve as the pillars of the next phase of this international effort. The first is a global advisory panel on reparatory justice, comprising heads of states and governments, eminent leaders and public figures who will provide strategic guidance to advance international dialogue and cooperation on reparatory justice. The second is an expert panel on the restitution of cultural artifacts, which will support efforts to facilitate the return of all cultural properties, archives, sacred objects, and historical treasures to their rightful communities and countries of origin. And the third is a global legal panel on reparatory justice, which will bring together distinguished jurists and legal scholars to explore legal pathways, deepen legal understanding, and develop approaches that are consistent with international law, human dignity, and justice.
President John Dramani Mahama. Let's do some other stories, Elizabeth.
The Municipal Chief Executive for Wejagbawe, Felix Odati-Lamte, is calling on the Ministry of Works and Housing to urgently prioritize the destilting of Weja Dam, which he says has remained largely unattended to over the years. His appeal comes amid growing concerns over recurrent flooding in the municipality, often triggered by the spillages from the dam. Recent heavy rains have further worsened the situation, leaving thousands of homes flooded. Speaking on the Class Morning Show with Kwame Jumuajiman, Odati-Lamte said that destilting the dam would significantly reduce the flooding challenges confronting residents. He also disclosed that persons occupying buffer zones have been given sufficient notice to evacuate the affected areas ahead of an impending demolition exercise.
For a long while, the Weja Dam, the channel through which it passes to the sea, has not been desilted, and we are calling on authorities with written to Works and Housing because Ghana Water is under Works and Housing to assist us to desilt the Weja Dam and the channels with which it enters the sea. The second thing that we are also thinking about is to ensure that we get a permanent estuary that is always open, so that when the spillage is done, it moves straight into the sea. Also, those who have encroached on the buffers, we have also started issuing them with notices to move away from there, and NADMO and other agencies have also taken it up to ensure that they go around, mark those buildings, so that we get a proper data as to what we're moving in to demolish, because we'll give them some time. If they don't, then we'll also come in to do our demolition. The other thing that the Ministry of Works and Housing with Aidoo and Garrett are doing is they will be flying drones on within our municipality to give us the red lines. The red lines means where people are not supposed to build along the waterway, so that when the demolition is being carried out, it will be carried out without anyone saying, oh, with what tempered with his building, which was or is not part of the red line or the red zone and other things.
On the issue of refuse-laden trucks and tricycle parked along major roads within the municipality and contributing to traffic congestion, the MC says he has directed operators to relocate their vehicles immediately. He warned that failure to comply would attract enforcement action from the national security apparatus.
If I tell you that the place is not a dumping site, then you have to leave. So it is the honor lies on me to tell them that they have to leave, because that place is not what. As national security and all of us are doing our part, also add your voice to it that that place is not a dumping site and they should leave. That is why, because of the force, that is why we also brought in national security. So I'm sure definitely looking at the numbers as you are saying, the national security will act accordingly. We are all not happy with that development. That is why we brought in the required agencies to act. So if we are happy, we will not go that mile. If your reporters truly have gone to the ground, they would have told you that the Abubo has they are seeing there are not coming from Wejagbawe.
We haven't said so.
From far as far as Teshi, Medina, and other places.
That's the Municipal Chief Executive for Wejagbawe, Felix Odati-Lamte.
Now let's do some other stories in sports, because members of parliament are urging the Black Stars to stay focused and avoid complacency after their 1-0 win over Panama in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The call comes after Ghana opened their Group L campaign with victory over Panama, a result lawmakers say must be treated as motivation rather than a reason for overconfidence. Members of parliament speaking in parliament praised the team's performance but stressed the need for discipline and improvement ahead of tough opposition in the group. Ghana's next match is against England, where the Black Stars will be looking to build on their opening win and strengthen their chances of progressing from the group stage. They encourage the players, technical team and supporters to remain focused and united as the tournament continues.
I beg all stakeholders, let us not be complacent. The management body, the referee, the boys, those who are praying, the entire state. Because if you read James 2:26, it talks about James 2:26. It talks about the fact that faith without works is dead. So let us not begin to be sluggish, indolent, and inactive, and begin to be too complacent to the extent that we don't get where we want to get to. I believe if it is in the goodwill of God,
came the Almighty laws, and I'm saying this with no any reservations or any insults. When we had the issues of Asamoah Gyan missing the penalty,
the new spirit, the spirit of patriotism that
is that has been a weak onslaught, initiated the attack, and then passed it on to Antoine Semenyo, and Antoine Semenyo brilliantly passed it to Thomas Asante.
Well, you hear some members of parliament urging the Black Stars to stay focused and avoid complacency after the 1-0 over Panama in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, let's do some other stories in Africa, because Zimbabwe's lower house of parliament has passed a bill to extend presidential terms from 5 to 7 years, which would allow President Emerson Mnangagwa to remain in power until 2030. More than 200 lawmakers voted in favor of the draft legislation on Thursday, surpassing the vote threshold required for a 2/3 majority to amend the constitution. The bill also scripts direct presidential elections with future president chosen by parliament. Mnangagwa, 83, took power in 2017 after ousting longtime ruler Robert Mugabe with the backing of the military, and went on to win disputed elections in 2018 and 2023. The bill now heads to the Senate, where it is also expected to secure approval before being enacted by the president.
Now, are you ready to review your fortune? Review Scratch for Win is here to change your life for good. Just dial *850*5# and win up to 1 million Ghana cedis or more in cash prizes instantly. It's easy, it's exciting, and it's regulated by the National Lottery Authority. Simply dial *850*5# to play on all network. Choose your station to play. Select stake amount from 5 cedis to 2,000 Ghana cedis. Choose your lucky card out of the 5 options. Confirm gameplay and enter your Momo pin. Receive your game results and winnings instantly. It's easy, fun, and exciting. Get ready to scratch, win, and live your best life with Review Scratch for Win. Up to 1 million Ghana cedis up for grabs. Review Scratch for Win. Scratch keke. Nadisika Seibam.
Electroland Ghana Limited is giving you weekly and monthly big rewards when you buy Samsung, TCL Media and NASCO Electronics anywhere in Ghana and from any authorized dealer or reseller. Just buy your less smart TV, split AC, double door fridges, auto grill gas cookers, washing machines, sound towers, microwaves, blenders, mobile phones and more from Samsung, TCL Media and NASCO, and dial *928*88888# or go to register.electrolandraffles.com to enter our weekly and monthly draws. Electroland Ghana Limited, rewarding your patronage the big way.
That's how we wrap up 12 Live Radio on Class 91.3 FM. For more news and updates, do log on to classfmonline.com. The news team will be back on 5:05 with Kwame Ochi Jr. to give you the latest happening around the world. I am Elizabeth Aidoo.
And I am Veronica Amade.
Have a good afternoon.